Hi guys, I'm Peter from Heritage Audio. We're here today with the great Michele Iorfida in his studio in LA. Hi Michele.
Hi, Peter, how are you?
It's my pleasure to be here with you and see your awesome studio.
Thank you.
I've known your work, the work you did in Europe for years, and I'm really happy that you're doing great in the US now. Can you tell me how is things going for you these days? What projects you're involved in, all that kind of stuff?
Totally. Thank you. Basically, I moved here in 2012 and I still own my studio in Milan, which, by the way, is run by the great Patrizio Simonini, working for me like since 10 years ago. And I finally found the perfect home for all my gear, all my stuff in Los Angeles, in North Hollywood actually, which is Fab Factory, which is this great environment with 4 rooms and 4 more studio to come in the future in 2019, and home of Dave Pensato too, which is on the opposite side of the corridor. And I loved it from the very first second. The acoustic treatment that was already installed was pretty great, and I actually was able to develop a little bit more my control room for mixing. So basically I moved here in 2012. I've been signed by Sony ATV worldwide as a songwriter, and I'm trying to develop American artists and songwrite with American songwriters. And it's been hard, but it's also been great.
I see you have basically everything here. You have the best guitars, you have the best keyboards available, the best outboard gear available. How you integrate all those things into your sonic environment?
Regarding my workflow, integrated with both the HDIOs and the SoundGrid system, that allows me to basically run every piece of gear you see in the room, like be it a keyboard, be it a modular synthesizer, or be it like a guitar plugged into the amplifier without connecting anything, because everything is already connected both through the SoundGrid system or through the HDIOs into the Pro Tools system. So that gives me a speed of arranging and composing, an incredible speed actually. Through like 20 years of tweaking studios and building more studios, I probably created, what I really think is the best mix between hybrid, systems. So to be able to access my in the box, plugins, but at the same time having everything else running in sync, real time, without hooking up.
Yeah, because the workflow now is really, everything is really fast. You need to be like this. So it's pretty cool. But at the same time, what you find that analog gear is still giving you that working in the box doesn't.
I would say that if I'm going to a piece of analog gear, I'm searching for color, I'm searching for distorting the signal in a good way, compression curves that are not that easy to emulate on the analog side, or simply, a flavor. We're not searching for something to, complicate even more our setup. We are searching for something that sounds incredible, sounds great, and easy to hook up and easy to use.
Me as a designer, that's what I'm trying always to get out of the analog gear. People is getting really, really, really into replicating what the linear analog gear does. So when I'm designing new pieces of analog gear, I'm trying to get the non-linearity region of those pieces, try to push them and find the oddities that
Totally.
I can get from those. We were talking before about the new piece. We're bringing the Successor master bass compressor. There's pretty good, precise master bass compressors out there, so I didn't want to do something like that. So we went with a really musical sounding piece of gear that I'm not sure it's gonna be too easy to replicate on the plugins.
That's good. I also want to point out that another great aspect of using outboard analog gear is the physical aspect of connecting with it, touching the knobs. That's really a big part of it, especially if we're refining the last touches on the mix, having these like small possibilities of detented, knobs. It's like really making the difference instead of using a mouse.
again, me as a designer, I tried the gear to be a source of inspiration by itself. When I was recording and producing, I found that really interesting and really a sort of inspiration, just being in front of a piece of gear that looks great, has knobs to grab, and you're working a lot of time, many hours a day, and you need to not to get bored. I mean, but just looking at a screen and just grabbing your mouse, you're not at the office.
Totally. I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
So I see you have there like one of our 8173 and a 2264.
Exactly. I would say that 80% of the time it's my go-to channel strip for recording vocals, acoustic guitars, and when we use my booth for recording electric guitars, it's also on the 57, sure. I love it. I find that the combination of having a Class A 1073 like pre with a 1081 like EQ, it's great. It gives me a lot of versatility. And at the end of the chain, there's the 2264 compressor that gives me, that extra flavor, extra color when I'm recording vocals or when I need to spice up a little bit, something. So
that's
I love
excellent.
it.
Well, you just came out from NAM's show. We were introducing the Successor bass compressor, which actually you were one of the first guys trying the prototypes, and your input was really appreciated. I mean, I'm really excited about that because I designed it and I put all my heart and soul into it, but I would love to hear your impressions on that.
The first 20 minutes that I tried it, 3-4 things just came up instantly. The fact that it's based on the diode design, but has so many modern options that makes a lot of sense in a hybrid setup and in a modern mixing environment. Like, first of all, the sidechain filters, So finally we can put this thing on a mix bus and not having all the low end lost in the compression. And not only that, the fact that you included other shapes on the sidechain in the detector to maybe compress a little bit more the low end, the mid-low, which a lot of the times while you're mixing, the 200, 250 creates a lot of problems of adding up a lot of layers of tracks, or even using the sidechain that's actually in the detector, it's actually emphasizing a little bit more the 2K, 3K. That's even, another great option. Sometimes you have screechy vocals on a mix that the more you compress, the more they pop up. So having that option is cool. And, having a dry, wet knob that's actually even bypassable in some way. So you can parallel compress and feel the difference between the wet and the fully wet, the fully dry, but also having a knob that I can instantly disable the parallel compression. I think it's great. So I don't have to constantly move the knob to feel how it was dry or how it is half wet and half dry. I would say also that having the range of threshold, and all the options, that how you choose the speed of the attack and the release, they really make sense, including both, the automatic, the old diode design, but also a lot of other speeds, on the release that they can make a difference, especially in modern music where you may need, a compressor on a mix bus to be really fast and transparent and unobtrusive. So that gives me a lot of options, which I love. And last but not least, the sound. I think the sound is great. Having transformer both in and out.
Both in and out.
Yeah, both in and out. It's a great option to color your sound. We're plugging in something and we instantly hear something, cooler and more euphonic in our mix bus, which is great,
Yeah, that's great. Even in bypass mode, the way we designed the bypass, your audio is still passing through the transformers and the Class A output stage. So it in itself just brings something to the sound, and the way the diode bridge compresses, which is way differently as a VCI does, it adds a lot of harmonic content, and the more you compress, the more second harmonic it brings to your music. So it's a really musical piece of gear that I'm really proud of, and thanks for your input on that.
Thank you.
That was pretty cool. And I'm really happy that you like it.
I love it, and obviously now it's gonna stay in my rack.
We'll talk about that. It's been great to spend some time with you, Michele. You have this crazy good environment, and you're keeping with the good stuff, doing good music, and I really enjoy being here, and thank you very much for your time.
Peter, it was a pleasure to me, to finally try this piece of gear and to meet you in person after like so many years that
Yeah.
that we talked through email, and and we had a lot of like back and forth, So it was great. I loved it, and obviously it's gonna stay in my rack.